Hello. Hi. How many of y'all are at your first grown-up story time right now? Awesome. Whoa. How many of you are at your 100th grown-up story time? Right. Yeah. All right. This is a special story because it was told at the very first grown-up story time in this current format, and also at the 14th, I guess. It's also special because it's true, and it was told by a very special person. When I was young, my parents thought it would be a great idea to put me in a school that was not a public school. And normally, that would be cool. Private schools are awesome. But not this kind of private school, because this was a church private school. Which is like the people of church, they start a church and they have kids, and then they're like, oh, we don't want to send our children into the world to be, tainted with evolution and books. Let's start our own school. So they start their own school. And I went to Livingstone's Christian School from kindergarten to the 10th grade. In my 6th grade year, I had this teacher named Mrs. Barrow. And Mrs. Barrow was fucking crazy. I pray to God she is not teaching anymore. She was obsessed with weird shit. She was obsessed with angels, and she claimed that she had a guardian angel that followed her everywhere, and his name was Charlie. And she would also tell us that we shouldn't use slang because the angels don't understand us when we talk if you use slang. Angels do not understand what it means to say, yeah, I'm cool for Christ. Because then the angel says, earlier he said he was hot for the Lord. What's up with that? This lady was crazy. She also told us that whenever you see something out of the corner of your eye, she would say, when you see something out of the corner of your eye, boys and girls, it could be an angel or a demon. One thing that she loved even more than angels and demons and crazy fucked up shit like that, she loved the book of Revelations and the Rapture. Now, if you aren't familiar with what the Rapture is, it's when God goes, you know what? Let all those people who believe in me, let's take them up to heaven, and everyone else, let's have them have the worst fucking time of their life. So basically, everyone who is a Christian goes to heaven, and then on earth, there's wars and tribulation and scorpion monsters attack. It's horrible. She taught that shit for like a month. We didn't have class for a month, and all she taught was the rapture. She was obsessed that it was going to happen any day. She would come in and say, sign of the end times, boys and girls. This is happening in the Middle East. Sign of the end times. You know what? I'm not even going to assign homework tonight because the rapture will probably happen tonight. No homework. And she had these videos that she would show us, these really cheap, low-budget movies, right? That I have come to realize were horror films. One week we canceled everything, even Rapture Talk, to watch these movies. There were 4 of them, and they were each like 3 hours long. And I was a young, impressionable child, 6th grade. And watching these movies and hearing all this Rapture talk really fucked me up. Like, big time. In these movies, people were getting their heads cut off with a guillotine if they didn't take the mark of the beast. It was scary. And I became obsessed with what happens if the rapture happens and I'm not one of the chosen ones. It plagued me. I would lie in bed at night and I would hear my parents talking in the living room, and if they took a moment to pause and stop talking, I had to rush out and make sure they were still there. Oh God, oh thank God, the rapture didn't happen. I'm safe, I'm sorry God, I'm sorry. And then one day I went to the grocery store with my mom and sister, and we came home and my mom was like, Tim, why don't you go get the mail? Because our mailbox was across the street. And I was like, okay, getting the mail is fun, I'm in 6th grade. So I go get the mail, and I walk back in the house, and I'm like, Mom, I got the mail, I got the mail. And I walk in, and no one is there. And I was like, oh, that's weird. They were just here. I could have sworn I saw them walk in the house. I look in all the bedrooms. They're not in the bedrooms. I look outside in the backyard. They're not in the backyard. I look down in the front yard. They're not in the front yard. They're not down the street. I'm looking everywhere. They are nowhere to be found. And my first thought was, holy shit, the rapture just fucking happened. Minus the expletives, because I didn't want to, in case it didn't happen, I didn't want to curse and then not go. I was like, the rapture happened. I'm stuck here. And then I didn't know what to do. Should I board up the windows? Should I go on the run? I can't take the mark of the beast. Oh God, there's going to be an Armageddon. Scorpion monsters are going to attack me. Oh man, and I start freaking out. Why did they not take me? Why was I not taken in the rapture? God, what did I do? And then I realized that God had forsaken me, and he had taken everyone else. In 6th grade, I get down on my knees and start crying and bawling and cursing God for not taking me in the rapture. What did I do? What did I do? I went to church. I went to Christian school. I went with my sister. Why was I not taken? Now I'm going to have to get my head cut off. And then my mother walked in the room. Of course, I'm crying. I'm so glad you're here. I thought the rapture happened and I was left behind. And don't make me take the mark of the beast on my forehead. I'm so glad you're here. And the beast united all the nations. But now I'm glad that it happened, because if it hadn't happened, I would probably still be really scared of the rapture. And now that for 15 minutes of my life I kind of lived it, if the rapture does happen and I'm not taken, at least I know I'm prepared. Thank you.